and welcome to the J&K Show. This is your Friday edition. We're going to unpack some things. We're going to talk Michigan football and what's going on there. We will also recap the Thursday night football game from yesterday. We will also give us the top 5 MVPs at this point. We only have a month left of football, and then we'll finish with the our upset and lock of the week. So we're going to start right off with the scandal that's going on in Michigan. It seems like it's only been a few years removed from the play call stealing scandal, and now here we are. Are we calling it Cheatgate? What are we calling it, Jay?
No. Well, you could call it Cheatgate, but yeah, I don't put this on the same level that I do with the sign stealing allegations because that whole thing was a nothing burger from the get-go. I still believe that that was the NCAA's way to get at Jim Harbaugh for backing the players and saying the players should get revenue, the players should get money. So I think that that was the NCAA's way of getting to him and a way to get him out of the NCAA because they're just mad. They didn't want to share that money with the players.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep it like an indentured servant kind of deal where they could make money off the backs of the players and not give the players anything. But I digress.
Hey, it definitely didn't help, right? Even if that
It
wasn't
didn't
the
help, yeah,
motivation
for
really
sure.
from NCAA, it didn't help when they looked at Harbaugh and there was something to like maybe look at. It was like they were clearly, they had more motivations from other things to really
Yeah,
kind of go hard on that when it probably would have been a non thing. So I
it
agree with
should have been. Yeah, they got mad because Connor Stallions was very good at his job.
you. Hmm.
He did, short of the Central Michigan thing, which I think is just weird, but we'll get away from all that stuff. But yeah, the whole Sharon Moore thing, how far out of left field did that come from? I mean, that was from the parking lot.
Knee jerk reaction, I honestly was like, well, wait a minute. Even though I don't like it, and now I think he's a scumbag, he's
Yeah,
getting fired for sleeping around. I was like, there's got to be
yeah.
more, right? And then there was more.
Well, there was. Yeah, so it's no secret that, anybody who has watched anything that we've done, anything that we've put out.
Hmm.
I mean, look, I'm a diehard Michigan. I've been diehard Michigan since '96.
Hmm.
My late brother John got me really into him. He liked them because of the helmets and everything. He really liked it, and that got him into Michigan. And then I always looked up to him. So of
Hmm.
course, naturally, my big brother, I liked Michigan. Started watching them, and then '96 we started kind of watching games, and then '97 they won a national championship. So yeah, that was a great start off to my fandom for those guys.
Hmm.
And then not too long, my other late best friend started kind of watching too, and it's like, hey man, we should really check out Michigan football. It's really fun. They got cool players. Charles Woodson was my first favorite player in college, so that's a good guy to start off on. So we got into it, and that's where everything started. And there's been ups, there's been downs, there's been bad coaches, and as of recent, there's been some scandals that were not scandals. But I have just the greatest love and respect for Michigan. That being said, there is absolutely no excuse for what Sharon Moore has not only done to this university, but what he has done to his own family, what he has done to this girl who he started and they started a relationship. It might have been together that they came together and just started this, but he knew what he was doing was wrong. And the university has a strict policy on that you cannot be engaged in relations with staff members, anybody that has anything to do with the football team
Hmm.
or anything like that. And when the news broke, what was it, Tuesday,
Yeah.
that he was fired, it's kind of like, man, there's what the hell? It wasn't because of the team. I mean, the team did great given the circumstances that they were under this season.
Hmm.
They did great. I mean, the youngest team in college football, and they go 9-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose to Ohio State, but I mean, it wasn't the worst season ever.
Right.
There were a lot of ups, a lot of downs, some things to build on, but you have that when you have a young football team. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have games where you're just not in it. You can't seem to be on the same page. But we completely overhauled the roster. There's nobody left now that was on the national championship team if you take out Bredesen. He was the only one that was there really.
Mm-hmm.
So they did great given what they were going up against this year. I mean, the only two games that you lost before Ohio State was a road game at Oklahoma, who we now know Oklahoma is a great squad, and then you lose on the road to USC. USC is a top 30 program, and anytime you have to fly from Michigan to California, it's going to be a rough trip. And then the only home game you lose is to your rival Ohio State, which Ohio State, great team. They're a very, very, very good team. Maybe not the best team that they've had as of late, but they're still very, very good.
But they're at least the second best team in college. We'll see if they
I
can prove it. But they
Yeah,
are.
I would say they're definitely, if not number two, then they're definitely in the top three. But seeing some of the stuff that's coming out now with Sharon, and you're gonna have, and I knew it was gonna happen, but you have people now that are coming out and saying, well, the rumors have been flying around for months about this alleged affair and blah 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 blah. Shut up. They weren't. If you can't tell me that if these scumbag journalists would have gotten their dick beaters on this story, that they wouldn't have just ran with it.
Yeah.
I mean, even your lower level guys who would have just ran to X or Instagram or anywhere else and just been like, well, I just caught word that Sharon Moore was fucking his assistant. No. And don't give me that journalistic integrity bullshit, because anybody who watches news, sports shows, or anything like that, journalistic integrity is dead. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't. How many times have you seen stories come out where it's just, you can't verify it, but they push it out anyway because it's better to be first than to be right.
Right. True.
And that's how these people think.
Less than 5 people probably had a feeling months ago.
Yeah.
And there was nowhere near enough evidence to really release anything.
Yeah.
So people to just kind of come out now and be like, oh, this has been going on. And you didn't. I mean, it was going on. We know it was going on.
Yeah, we know that now. Yeah.
Know that it was going on. You may have had a feeling, maybe.
Yeah.
But you can't sit here and be like, I knew it, because you didn't.
I knew.
Really.
Yeah, you didn't. I mean, maybe the only people that would have had any sort of maybe an inkling that this was happening would be people within the university, people on the coaching staff who maybe walked into Sharon's office and saw her sitting on his desk, or maybe they were embraced or something like that. You know what I mean? Those are the only people who would have known. So I don't get them saying that, oh, we've known about this, but we just couldn't bring it to light. Shut up. Shut up.
So
it's just a
unpack a little of the allegation a little bit. I think it's a non-issue from a university standpoint if the head coach has an affair. It's an issue for his family. It's a non-issue for his university he works for. I don't think it should matter one way or another if the rule of conduct says you can't do it. I think it's ridiculous. If you have two single people that are on that staff and they find each other attractive, they're going to do it one way or another. The problem, I think, is because he was in a place of power. You've got like athletic director, and then like head coach comes up almost immediately after. He's in a place of power, and the problem is she was given some kind of a raise during a time, and so now you've got a problem financially where you're giving somebody an advancement probably due to relations. So, that's where I think it's an issue from a university standpoint. It doesn't matter, unfortunately, that he cheated on his wife and screwed his 3 daughters over and the family and everything. He's a scumbag for that. And there's a lot of people, especially that they get this kind of power or this kind of elevation and they're feeling themselves a little bit. And, when he was with Harbaugh, maybe he wasn't cheating on his wife. And then Harbaugh leaves and he's handed the keys to the castle, and then he decides he wants to be the king that does what he wants. But what else I would say to unpack is what else has come out, because for me, that's the only problem other than the domestic dispute after that gets him arrested, right? Because I think that's a reaction to the fact that he's been fired. Now, maybe the chronological clock is a little different, but it sounded like he had been fired and maybe went right on over to her house asking what she said to who and this and that, and there was a domestic dispute. So that's how I took it. So that's clearly a problem, but he's already fired because of the current problem of
Mm-hmm.
giving her a raise and all that. So what else can you tell the folks that has come out outside of the domestic dispute?
From what I have read, I've read a lot,
Yeah,
but from what I have read and what has been reported on now, just to cover our ass, I have to always say these are
allegedly.
all alleged,
Allegedly.
all alleged.
Thank you, Pat McAfee.
Um, yeah, everything that is about to come out of my mouth is alleged.
Yes.
So, from what I have seen, went and made her and his relationship known to the powers that be at Michigan.
Ah,
And they have evidence of everything, and she showed them this, showed them that, because apparently he has been a nutcase for the last few weeks and has been borderline stalking, if not stalking, trying to, blow her phone up and everything and stuff like that. And the university looked at it Monday, and then they got together and decided Tuesday to fire him
right.
with cause. So as soon as that happened, him and his wife have an argument, and he leaves and goes straight to this chick's house
Hmm.
and has like cutlery, scissors, or knife or something like that, and threatens to unalive himself. And I don't know if he made threats to her
Hmm.
about anything, but the quote that I saw was, "My blood is on your hands." And he's threatening to injure himself. And she calls the police, and he flees, and they ended up arresting him at a church of all places, which, sorry dude, fucking God's not going to help you through this shit. Um and then he gets arrested, he gets booked in and everything. And they had and they released his mugshot and his court hearing that he had today, which, man, I'm telling it, it's such a blow to me, and I'm sure Michigan fans all over the place, to see this man inherit gold, a golden palace. Michigan, say what you will about him and give as much shit as you want about him, but that is a top 5 job in
Yes.
college.
Yes. They just
Maybe
won the
top 3,
Cincinnati
maybe top
recently.
3.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And Jim Hart, he may as well have just flown out to Los Angeles and spit in Jim Harbaugh's face, because Jim handed him the world, and rightfully so. I don't think there was a Michigan fan that was arguing the fact that Sharon Moore should not have been handed the keys to the castle.
He
He
stepped
should have
in.
been. I
He
looked
stepped
at it.
in
You
during the
you see
Harbaugh.
every game that Harbaugh was suspended, Sharon Moore was the replacement coach,
And
and
they did
we
great.
went 6-0 in those games. He beat Ohio State.
Yep.
And
They were
that
great.
was enough for me to say, this guy, I was saying it after they beat Ohio State. If Jim goes to the NFL, and I think everybody knew that after that 2023 season, Jim was going to go regardless because of the whole allegation thing. We all knew he was going. The writing was on the wall. So I think everybody, I'll say probably 95% of Michigan fans were like, yeah, we want to see this guy lead this team from now on.
Hmm.
At least give him a few years. So when that happens, I mean, shit, it kind of makes you look back on the season and think, that's why we looked like shit at Oklahoma. That's why we looked like shit at USC. That's why the team never really looked like they were 100% together. I mean, because he was going through this shit.
Hmm.
This was on his mind. This is what he wasn't focused on football. He was focused on this woman and everything. That was his obsession. His obsession was not football and how to make the team better.
I read something, again, alleged, that we haven't said yet. Allegedly, at some point, I don't know how recent, at some point, Sharon Moore supposedly, allegedly, had a former quarterback take the Plan B pill to her because she actually had gotten pregnant and was forcing her to take it. I don't know how true that is. The only real things that have been reported and seemingly could be true are just the domestic charge and things and are being booked and all that. I don't know how true that is, but that is an alleged report that she at one point was pregnant and forced to take a Plan B to abort.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a
That right there.
lot worse to make it. Like he's
Yeah.
already a scumbag, but now he's like that level. He ruined his life. Not a lot of sympathy coming from my way.
You will not get zero sympathy for me. He has tarnished the school. He's put a stain on them that will remain for a while. I think, yeah, firing him may not be enough. Just depending on if anybody there knew. Did the AD know? If the AD knew, get him out. He needs to go.
Yeah.
If the president of the university knew, gotta go. If you guys knew this shit was happening, if you're going to put it in his contract and say there is a zero tolerance policy on having relations with staff members, then and they knew about it and they've known about it. Now, if they didn't find out until Monday, purely, okay, then I look at it as they did the right thing. Then they acted correctly, and they did it with the best intentions, and bygones are bygones at that point.
Yeah.
But if they legitimately knew weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, whenever the hell, and they were trying to cover up, because it really looks bad when you do this after National Signing Day and you knew before that. If that's the case, fire them now and just get them out. And then you can start your coaching search, your replacements for whoever. But the damage, the potential damage is you lose everyone. And I wouldn't blame the kids one bit. I wouldn't blame any of those guys for feeling disrespected, lied to, cheated, taken advantage of, and being hurt. I mean, because they put all of their trust, their families put trust in Sharon Moore and Ward Manuel to take care of their children, to help their children.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go out and you're going to act like a child, you don't deserve anything. You deserve every negative thing that happens to you from this point on. And if I was a parent and I had a child on a scholarship or even a walk-on at that university, I'm seriously looking at it and saying, I don't know if I can trust that environment right now. I really don't.
Yeah.
Now, if they come out and they say, and they can at least put some things at ease and say, look, we found out Monday from this woman that this has been going on. Maybe it's been going on for a while, but we're just now finding out about it. So we took less than 24 hours to terminate him and to get him off of campus.
Yeah.
So then we can look around and do the right thing. Now, that would make me feel better as a parent. I would look at it and say, okay, you guys did the right thing. Thank you for that. But now it's like, where do you go? Is anybody on his staff going to be retained? Now, they've already said Biff Poggi's going to coach the team, which I like Biff Poggi. He's a player's coach. He's a man's man. I like him. I really do. But, you also got Wink Martindale there, who's a hell of a D coordinator. You have other guys under there who have been at the school before and have been there for a little bit. And, it could be a potentially fatal thing.
Yes.
For these guys. They could lose Bryce Underwood. They could lose everybody who's there, whether they have an NIL contract or not.
Yeah.
I think this would be like the one thing that you could get out of that with. It's like, look, the coach is not there anymore. I was thoroughly lied to. I'm embarrassed. I feel cheated. I was lied to. I have no trust. Now, a lot of times players will be a lot closer to their position coaches than they are the head coach. Mm-hmm. But what brought them there was not only money, but they came there because they felt something with Sharon Moore to make them say, this is where I want to be. This is where I want my legacy to be. I want that block to mean something. So, going into last year, seeing how the team struggled, and this year how highly they were held, like, oh my God, this is such a talented roster. Yes, they're young. There's a lot of freshmen, sophomores on that team, and they were able to have the season that they had. Now, if you take this bullshit out of it, if you take this distraction away from Sharon Moore, granted it was a self-inflicted distraction,
Mm-hmm.
but if you take that away, we could be talking about an 11-1 Michigan team or a 10-2 Michigan team
Maybe.
with the world on their shoulder. They could have made the playoffs if they didn't have this crap going on behind the scenes. So yeah, Sharon Moore cheated this team, and he cheated the school out of so much. He cheated his family. He cheated himself.
I would say that the way the stuff is being reported as of now, my gut tells me that if she went to the school and then they went and then the fact that you didn't have any stuff coming out really before, I do think that it's likely that the university did find out Monday that
Yeah.
they probably would have to have multiple people coming to them. And I don't think that the way it sounds that anyone was really reporting on Sharon. Probably was really likable. He wasn't allowing it to be enough of a distraction where people thought he was, a lack of better terms, whooped to some degree and kind of
Yeah.
not there mentally enough. I think he must have been handling it fairly well in front of people. And so I don't really believe that it was a known thing by the university. But you do bring up a good point. So we will like kind of talk this as we close the segment. It does raise the question of maybe how the parents feel, how the recruits feel, how the recruiting process is going to go to some degree. It does raise the question of who wants to stay, who's the new head coach going to be, how attractive will Michigan look to recruits with who they bring in. Do you think as a Michigan fan that this is about to start a bit of a rough patch for you guys? The years of 4-8 and 5-7, a lot of those years. Do you feel like there's a chance Sharon may have just kind of screwed you guys in a way? As far as NIL recruiting, you having to be desired as a university by players. How are you feeling about that?
I don't feel great,
Yeah.
but it's the wound is still fresh.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to come down to who they decide to hire as a head coach. And each day and each week that passes where they don't have an announcement is going to be hurtful because you're going to have it's a cutthroat business when you break it down behind the scenes. It's a cutthroat business. Because you know that there's already agents, university spokespeople, coaches from other schools who are reaching out to these guys and saying, look, if you want to get away from that whole mess, we'd be happy to have you here at Maryland or here at LSU or here at Auburn. And we would be more than happy to match your current NIL or maybe even give you a few extra $100,000 to help you adjust to your situation. Now you're giving them ample time every day that passes to have that potentially happen. So and me personally, I don't think that they need to go for any coach who's currently in college. I believe you have to bring in a shocking big name to kind of make these guys go, shit, they're not messing around. They really, really want this to go away. I look at the Michigan president, the Michigan athletic director, they're looking at this, and you got to make those guys think this needs to be into the darkness as soon as we can get it in there. Mm-hmm. We need to say, Sharon, what he did is unexcusable. We terminated him. His legacy at Michigan will be forgotten. And he will no longer be affiliated with this university in any way. You have got to slam this man. And you have got to make it a point going forward that this is not going to deter us from our goal of bringing national championships, Big Ten championships, and a winning mentality to the University of Michigan. Mm-hmm. That being said, I've seen a lot of the talking heads going, well, Caleb DeBoer is a big name that we think is going to go to Michigan. No, he's not. No, he's not. He is going to stay. He's not staying at Alabama. He's not leaving Alabama.
Yeah.
He is staying there. Let's just put that in the dirt right now.
Yeah.
I have seen other names, I don't remember his name right now because I'm still a little pissed. But the Arizona State head coach, he's a young man. He's a fiery dude. He's done a really good job at Arizona State. I don't think that they're going to let him go. I think that they're going to try to keep him there. But as a young coach, if you can go from building a program at Arizona State and then you can get the elite job at Michigan, that's got to look pretty. It really does. So I wouldn't necessarily mind it, but I don't think he's a big enough name right now.
You know who is a
The
big
one
name?
the one name that I have seen that makes sense to me
Mm-hmm.
is John Gruden.
Ooh.
I It makes sense. He's been out of coaching for a little while, but he's used to working with college quarterbacks. He's used to working with college players. He's got an excellent staff behind him, and I think his name would attract great coordinators, great positional coaches, and I believe that if he were to come there, I think he would want to retain Wink Martindale
Mm-hmm.
to keep that system in place because he wouldn't want to change that. The only thing he would want to be involved in is the offense because that's what he does. Another name, and I think this is maybe a lesser known name, but he has a great affiliation with Michigan, would be Jesse Minter, the Chargers D coordinator who was with Harbaugh
Yeah.
when he was here. I wouldn't mind that either. So like I think it should be one of those two guys personally. Now whether Gruden wants to get back into coaching or not is still yet to be seen. I don't even know if they're even going to think about that because of the past and everything, but I think all that stuff has been pretty much washed away. It was massively overblown, you know, like media likes to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, that to me would make sense. I don't want them to. I've seen the name Brian Kelly thrown out there. And let me just say for the record, if Michigan hires Brian Kelly, I'm fucking done. I am done. I will be done until he's done. I might put a side eye and just kind of keep an eye on what they're doing, but I will have absolutely nothing to do with a Brian Kelly led Wolverines team. That guy is a garbage human being. He treats people like shit, and he's a scumbag. I don't want him anywhere near this team.
I think that you made a lot of good points. And deep down, I don't think any of those names will do enough to erase the stain and really give everyone a chance to start a little bit fresh and kind of say, you know what, NIL and recruiting and everything is going to be alive and well. If you want to completely shut down the BS that just happened, you got to convince one man to be a first time head coach for Michigan, and his name is Charles Woodson. You
Oh,
convince him, all of a sudden everything's fine. I feel like
yeah.
deep down, outside of that, because he'd be fresh, rookie, hadn't done it. People, oh, they would turn it back to football. I just don't know if Charles Woodson can get it done. I don't. He's never been a coach or this or that, but it just qualms everything that had just happened and it resets and it's an alumni great tough attitude tough mentality. I'm sure he would be good as far as leadership and coaching is concerned. You convince him to come save the program, to get all this bullshit aside, with especially even the Harbaugh sign stealing, just kind of get all these things. Okay, we're fresh, this is brand new, and then you still are able to recruit out of your ass because it's Charles freaking Woodson. So for me, those other coaches is not fine and well, but they'll still be going, how will they succeed Sharon Moore with what Sharon Moore has left them? And it'll still be this conversation. You want to make a splash and put it to best? Charles Woodson. That's it.
Yeah.
Convince him.
I don't. I mean, I just poured it out here. Charles Woodson was my first favorite college player
Yep.
and Michigan guy.
Yep.
He is the epitome of a Michigan guy. I just don't know if you would want to do that. I think before you would get Woodson to be a head coach, I think you would probably have more luck with Tom Brady, which I don't think Brady is going to go into coaching. He's making too much money as a commentator for
So
Fox right now.
Tom Brady and Des Howard are both making too much money for what they already do. So that's
Yeah.
why I picked Charles Woodson, who is more of a guest appearance person typically. Another name that you could throw out there is Mike Hart,
Yeah.
because Mike Hart was on the Colts staff as a coach and has been coaching. I like moving him. Is he still with you guys or no?
He was, but no, he's not there. He had some medical issues.
Okay. If as long as he's obviously healthy, if he's doing all right, health wise, he's not like sick or something. Like I think if
Yeah.
he's interested in stuff, I would like that to be a low scale Charles Woodson. Another, but he actually has experience coaching, and he's a Wolverine. For me, when it comes to college football, I really do believe in when you have an opportunity to bring in an alumni guy. I think that's a big part of being a college program. And so for me, Michigan should be looking down the list of former alum. And if you want them to have experience, then there's another list of small list of who's coached. And then obviously the guy on the top that hasn't coached, which is Charles Woodson. So I think Mike Hart, Woodson,
Yeah.
guys that I would have Chad Henne down the list as far as never coached, but you got to bring in someone with some Michigan ties that makes you forget about what recently happened. It needs to be a guy that 10
Mhm.
years ago or longer was a former great for Michigan. So that's my take. I think that would help the whole
Yeah.
situation a lot.
I have, and we'll end it with this. There are 3 candidates that I think nobody's talking about that I think would be good fits and could possibly do just enough as far as like recruiting goes, and maybe even keeping our high profile guys here.
Yeah.
Number 1 would be Ed Orgeron
Yeah.
from LSU.
You can't
Go
understand.
Tigers.
He's good.
You can't understand a damn word this dude says, except for "Go Tigers." Yeah, that was.
He's real
But
Southern. It would be weird for him to be at Michigan. It's just on accent and like the way he
yeah,
operates. It would just be like, man, that Southern bell up here. He got some accent. He's got, I don't know. Anyway,
yeah. Ed Orgeron is one that I haven't heard thrown around. I don't know if LSU is still paying him,
they
but
probably are.
probably are. He's one name. Another name, kind of out of left field, possibly, is Bob Stoops.
Whoa.
I haven't seen anybody mention Bob Stoops. He's been coaching in the XFL, UFL, whatever you want to call it. So he's still fresh in coaching and he's still used to it. But who knows if he's even interested in doing that right now.
Yeah.
And then another name of somebody who I don't necessarily think that it should or anything like that, but a lot of I've seen some people mention Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer Urban Meyer is not going to go to Michigan. He hates
Not
Michigan.
even,
Michigan hates him.
not even that.
So
But you're gonna convince me that Urban Meyer wasn't doing Sharon Moore things.
he was finger gunning chicks in the bar in Columbus, bro. After
Allegedly.
in the NFL,
Allegedly.
that wasn't alleged. That's on video. There's proof. He was finger gunning the chick.
She was
But
about to fall
but
down.
no, yeah, definitely not Urban Meyer. No. But if you're desperate enough, but I don't think it'll happen, Jimbo Fisher, who was bought out at Texas A&M because they were doing pretty awful, but he's got a lot of recruiting and experience and everything coaching college ball. He's been being paid to stay at home. Maybe that would be enough to get him motivated again. I don't think that would happen. I don't think Jimbo Fisher would be a good fit. I just haven't seen his name around any of this, but I just wanted to put there was 3 dark horses out there because it could happen. You can't just wait around for the NFL season to be over before you want to try to attract one of those guys. And NFL coaches, more often than not, are not going to come down from the NFL to coach in college. They're just not going to do it.
Usually it's a former head coach that has gotten fired. That's usually the pool you're picking out of. So
now you may be able to convince a coordinator or a special teams coach or somebody like that to come down and take a head coaching job.
Maybe.
Because this will get your feet in the water. But more often than not, you're not going to see an NFL guy come back down to the college level. It's just not going to happen. So you don't want to wait that long because you have to wait till January, February before you can even talk to anybody. And pretty much the coaching carousel of people who are available now in college is done. That window is shut. All the guys who were open who look sexy, in that aspect are gone. They're taken. So unless you're going to convince one of these high profile guys from the SEC or Big 12 or other Big 10 schools to get out of their current deal, buy them out to come to you, it's just not going to happen. And there's nobody left with the pedigree that is going to come with Michigan. Just the name Michigan, you know, it's just not there. So I think that they're going to have to go outside of the box on this one. Well, even if you pull another name that you may be able to pull out of a hat who does have ties to Michigan would be another former LSU head coach, Les Miles. You could do that. Maybe he has been with Michigan before, but you're not going to get Nick Saban. Nick Saban's in TV. He doesn't want to do the NIL bullshit. He's just not. He doesn't want to be a part of it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
That other than those names that we've just been putting out there, I don't see anybody who's going to have the pedigree and the draw that's going to be needed to make Michigan forget about everything that just happened, to be able to put that in a rearview mirror and just focus primarily on football now.
I think the fairness is that Michigan wasn't really in the market for a new head coach. And so now that they're in this situation, I would say it's very likely that you guys will probably just move a coach up that you think is qualified. And unfortunately, I think that really could end up affecting your guys' recruiting. I think that's the most likely scenario. I was just trying to come up with other names that would maybe jolt the whole situation in a way that kind of would be a left field solution. But I think the most likely is you move up one of the coordinators or somebody on staff, and your recruiting may not be what they wanted it to be, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that as a fan, I am very worried about, because I watched the progression that these guys had throughout the year, and we have talented guys. We have very talented guys, and I'm not going to sit here and be selfish about it and say, I just want them to stay here and I want them to progress here. I want them to do what's best for them and their life. If that means they go to another school and get away from this, I'll be a fan for life. I don't care where you decide to go, or if you decide to stay, fuck yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It shows the character.
Yeah.
And if they decide to stay,
despite it, you're wanting to be here.
But I'm not going to sit here and dock character points if you say, well, you know what, I really don't want to be involved with this. I don't want this shadow to be over my body the rest of my football career. I don't want it to tarnish my legacy, my development, and I would like to go elsewhere and get out of this whole deal. I would not blame any of them one bit if they decided to leave. Now, we've already seen recruits pull their name out and say, look, I'm backing out. I don't want to be there with this shit.
I got somewhere to be, so I can't really answer the phone.
It's that SpongeBob meme, I'm a head out. So and I have no ill will towards any player either coming in or who is currently there. I have no ill will towards them whatsoever.
Right.
It's your life. This is your legacy. This is your future. This will impact you personally. It will impact all your future family, your children, your wives, whatever. Mm-hmm. This could potentially affect all of that. So are you going to stay and ride the wave, or do you need to go and just forget about it so you can get back to football? And I just want to put that out there right now to any player. I doubt any players see this anyway, but just in case they do, I have your back in whatever choices you make. And I will say 99% of the fan base feels the same way, because we all feel like we just got smacked in the face and we got our faces spat on by this son of a bitch and this dirt bag who decided to do all that. I don't know how somebody with 3 daughters does this. He's not a man. He is a purebred piece of shit.
Yeah,
Purebred, and that's it.
I mean,
And I
point.
will leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the players go, you just tell them all, be like, "You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy.
Yeah,
I like you."
yeah. I love them all. I really do. I to see how they grew this year and got better and came out of left field, and it's like with all this shit going on in the background, you guys did wonderful.
Yeah,
You guys did wonderful to go
very
9-3.
talented.
Very, very good. And I hope everything stays the same, but inevitably things are going to change and things are going to kind of domino. But to what extent, we'll just have to wait and see.
I agree. All right, so we will close that chapter for now. We will then go now to the Thursday night football game, which was actually pretty good. And honestly, the burning question is, did the Buccaneers just lose their division?
Well, no, I think they play Carolina still twice.
But like when you just the way you watch the team, like with your gut feeling, obviously it didn't
And
actually, right? That's not
it's hard. It's hard to say that they may have a chance still because they were at full power. They had Mike Evans.
mostly
Mike Evans had a hell of a night.
Mike
Chris
Evans had a
Godwin had a hell of a night.
great night.
And Abuka has still had a decent night. Bucky Irving had a decent night.
I want
But
you to. Are you ready to apologize, or do you want me to preface the apology?
bring it on, bud.
Okay, so what do you have to say to my boy Kirky? What do you got to say? You think about it long and hard.
Fuck you, dude.
Kirk
No, I
Cousins,
mean it was surprising. Surprising.
373 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 sack. He gave Kyle Pitts a career day without Drake London, and they beat the Buccaneers in a situation where the Falcons have nothing to play for, and really they probably should
Wow.
be losing. So you have nothing to say to Kirk Cousins.
Nah, just enjoy it. Enjoy it because it's the last time that's gonna happen. Now I will retort because I wouldn't be me if I didn't retort. Did Kirk Cousins give Kyle Pitts his career game, or did Kyle Pitts give Kirky Cousins a resurrection?
Let's be fair. Kyle Pitts.
No, I don't want to be fair.
Okay, Kyle Pitts has been what some would say a slight to reasonable disappointment. Okay, that's being
Yeah,
nice.
fair.
So
Yeah,
for me, he looked fantastic and he was dealing with an injury. If you're going to try to convince me that because Kyle Pitts, because of how amazing he is, that Kirk Cousins was able to have a great game, that would be total bullshit.
yeah,
And it's coming out of your ears.
yeah. It is. Well, see, I was expecting you to kind of come back with a well. What about David Sills?
What about Sills? Six
What about
catches,
Sills?
78 yards. He looks great, and he wasn't even playing early in the year hardly at all. So, Mooney
Yeah.
is an afterthought. He fumbled the ball, about cost him the damn game. Bijan
Mm-hmm.
fumbled the ball. Your stars, this hasn't been a star. This is his big moment. And, Kyle Pitts is the kind of guy that'll catch one pass for 8 yards next week. So don't sit here
Yeah.
and tell me about how great he is, that Kirk
Well.
Cousins, benefited. Kirk Cousins played fantastic. And what I am going to preface is no, he doesn't have to retire. He's still very close to retiring. What I'm going to say is it took him a few games to get warmed back up because he's old. That's just the
Mm-hmm.
facts. I think that we can expect a solid performance out of him the rest of the year. Probably not these numbers, of course, but I don't think we're going to see a shit game from Kirk as if he's almost inept. I think he's going to play
Yeah.
fairly well the rest of the year because he's been benched for basically a calendar year. It takes time to get himself back into shape, which I hope to God Philip Rivers doesn't have that same situation. By the time he's in shape, the month will be over and he won't be able to play any football. But, daggone it.
Yeah. Dadgummit, yeah. No, I mean he looked great, but you also got to kind of look at Tampa Bay's defense as of late, and I'm not making excuses, but Tampa Bay's defense as of late has just not been sound at all. They have been giving up points and yards at a much higher rate than what we're used to seeing a Todd Bowles team defense look like.
Atlanta had
So they were playing bad. Now listen. I just said Give me a minute. I said Kirk Cousins played great. He had a great game. He looked awesome. But that being said, you have to look at Tampa's defense as of late also.
Yeah.
Not taking away anything that Kirk did last night. Kirk looked like Kirk 5 years ago. But is this a one off thing? Now you're going to want to see him do this again against somebody else. You're going to want to see him not turn the ball over, have a close to, if not over, 300-yard passing game before I'm going to sit there and say, all right, yeah, Kirk Cousins could probably sneak out another year. But my only argument is everything that went on in Atlanta with him last year, actually ever since he went to Atlanta, it just has not looked good. He has not been putting a good product. Now I think he had the one 500-yard game last year where he just ignited and everything was right. And that's what I saw last night too. Like he could not do any wrong. They had a 4th and 14 or and then a 3rd and 28. It's like, Jesus, man, where's this shit coming from?
Yeah.
And it's not like him recently. His recent performances and everything. It's just like, it's shocking. Like you can't expect Kirk Cousins to do this every week. Now, he may give you another game or two to end this season, but I think going into next year, I think he really needs to consider retirement before anything. And if he comes to Indianapolis, I'm gonna walk and run to Kokomo and just slap you.
Hold on.
Don't you do it.
Calm down for a second. Here's my thing.
I am calm.
Philip Rivers isn't going to come back next year, okay?
Hell no.
He's just going to take a one shot at it. Now, if he plays amazing, he might get the itch and say, okay, let's have a little farewell tour. I already fucked up my Hall of Fame clock. But I don't think that would happen no matter what. What I do think, though, is if they intend to sign Daniel Jones back, and it probably cost him some money getting injured, they're going to need somebody for the first 8 games. And all I'm saying is you have Riley Leonard. You're probably going to trade Anthony Richardson. If you want to do Anthony Richardson, you can. I'm not going to be pissed about it. I think they're going to move him. I say Kirk Cousins for the first 8 games is not a bad choice, or you at least have him compete with Riley Leonard. If he has any gas left, you can't tell me the Colts wouldn't be happy with 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. If you're going to squeeze that out, he has training camp and everything to have his rhythm and have a chance. You can get away from these 145 yards and 2-pick kind of games that he was having because he wouldn't have as much time to sit and wait behind someone. I'm just saying you might want to bring in someone to be with Riley Leonard. If it's going to be Anthony Richardson to battle for the temporary starter, fine. But if you're not, you probably have someone else that you want to do. And that's if you're signing Daniel Jones. So I'm just saying, Kirk Cousins, fantastic performance, great interview. Great interview.
I don't like him.
You like that?
No, I think, man, I agree with you on a lot of shit.
Man,
we have a lot of similar outlooks, but this one I cannot agree with at all.
8 games.
You're already, how many quarterback tires do we have to kick?
We're gonna have
before we just say,
get over
no. I don't want to bring in anyone else. What I want is to develop Riley Leonard. Develop him.
For what?
Because he looks like he can play.
But if you had signed Daniel Jones, he's the guy. You're going to give him for a 4-year deal for $30 million a year because he got hurt. He's the guy. You're not going to develop Riley Leonard.
You have to. You're forced to. And you don't have to sign him to a long-term deal. You can sign you can franchise tag him if you want. But you can sign him. You're not going to have to pay him $55 million like we were in line to have to do. Yeah. But I'm just saying, you're not. You now know you don't have to sign him to a $50 million a year deal. You can sign him to a 2-year, 65 maybe, and you're saving money so that you can bring in maybe other people as well. And you're not paying Riley Leonard very much. I would like to say, look, if Daniel Jones is not going to be ready at all in 2026, which it looks like he may not be, but have Riley Leonard, a guy you drafted, come in, given the circumstances of what he did in Jacksonville, being called up after that emotional bullshit that happened with Jones, and then coming in and doing what he did, I was like, that was fantastic. That's about as good as you can hope for in that situation. Now, did we ever feel that about Jim Sorgi? Did we ever feel that way about Curtis Painter? We
Okay.
never felt that way. The only time that we had a quarterback who could come in and actually play backup and we've had some sort of faith in was Gardner Minshew and Matt Hasselbeck. Those are the only two that we've ever had that we felt like, okay, we could still go down the field and score points. But I'm tired. I'm tired of bringing in old, busted down fucking quarterbacks to come in and go fucking 4-13 or 5-12. I'm sick of that shit. If you're thinking to bring in a old, washed motherfucker, granted that's what they're doing now, which it's kind of annoying. And on all honesty, it annoys the shit out of me.
Bring in Cam.
He needs to shut up too. He's an
He's so
idiot.
pissed
Good. I hope he fucking cries about it for the rest of his life.
with his hair all. Oh, I'm so
But
pissed.
yeah, but if you're even remotely considering, hey, let's offer Kirk Cousins a 1-year $40 million deal, I would much rather see them retain Anthony Richardson and keep him there.
Yeah.
Let him and Riley Leonard go at it and see who's going to start, and just do that. Because I think Richardson has his 1 more year left on his rookie deal.
Correct. Next year's his
So
last.
yeah, if you're going to have him under contract, that's what you want to do. Have our 2 youngest quarterbacks go at it, see what you can get out of them. If Riley Leonard then wins the starting position, then now it's like, okay, we can move AR if we need to, and then bring in a solid backup. But I want to see those 2 go at it and see who can win the job. Now, if it's really, really close, let's keep AR for the year, and then we can just let him go to free agency, give him away for nothing. But then you can sign Daniel Jones to a lower deal, maybe for 2 years or something like that. But you don't want to sit there and keep kicking the tires on these old fucks who should not even be anywhere near a team right now. I didn't like the fact that they brought in Phillip Rivers.
Shut up.
I didn't like it. Because he may go out there and die this weekend.
We're missing
He
a
could.
lot of the point. Okay, you're coming from a team building strategy, and I agree with it to a degree. But here's the thing, right? We have a very veteran team. In my opinion, we don't have so young of a team. There are some veterans here that only have a few years in their prime left. So here's the thing. As far as anyone that's pissed off about Rivers, it was the best decision, and everyone can get pissed off all they want. And I know he's 44, but after I really thought on it, you have to have someone that knows the scheme, knows how it's going to run, and can execute it as well as anyone can, because you're trying to win. This isn't a development moment. You're 8-5. There's 4 games left. You're trying to win, period. So there's that. You're bringing in someone who can win right now. That's why Cam wasn't signed. That's why the Tannehills of the world, no one else was signed, because they were like, it will take too long for them to be ready. We'll lose. You bring in Phillip, at least he's ready on a mental. He knows the playbook. You save that time, and maybe he has a good enough game where he can get in shape enough or a rhythm. You're taking a shot at it because that's your best shot. Next year, okay, it's all premised on Daniel Jones. And how much you sign him for is completely important. And the strategy, what you're describing for a 2-year deal, that's fine. Riley Leonard and Anthony Richardson, go ahead and compete and develop. My belief is they're going to sign him to a 4-year deal. I believe they're convinced that Daniel Jones can lead this team. It's unfortunate that he just had his Achilles happen. It's going to cost him money. I don't think it's going to cost him years. So in my mind, if you sign Daniel Jones to a 4-year deal, there is no developing quarterbacks. It's a waste of time. You're costing your veterans on the team time. Time is of the essence. You're going to bring in the best candidate that fits whatever you're trying to do, maybe even 2, and you're going to have them compete for this 8-game stretch, possibly next season stretch. Because if you've decided to pick Daniel Jones, what good is it going to do you to develop Anthony Richardson in his final year? Now what do? You can't trade
Anthony Richardson is past developing.
Okay, you
He's
develop
way
Riley
past
Leonard, a
developing.
sixth-round pick, and you've already signed Daniel Jones to a 4-year deal. What's that going to do? Well, Riley's really happy to be a backup, and he's really anytime he's ready. No, it doesn't make sense. You're costing Jonathan Taylor, DeVorest Buckner. You're costing these guys time. I don't even know if Charvarius Ward will come back with all his concussions. I'm really concerned for him.
No
And
shit.
and and we're talking about developing a quarterback. No, we're not. We're 8-5. We were the best team in football at one point. You're gonna go for it, and especially if Daniel Jones is signed to a long-term contract, you are just gonna sign
Yeah.
the best one-year guy you can find to bridge back to Daniel Jones. You're not developing anyone. Total waste of time.
That's what's going to be the defining thing is what they decide to do with Daniel
Correct.
Jones.
Completely.
I think he's done enough
Mm-hmm.
to earn a couple more years here, but you also want to have confidence in who you're bringing in just in case that does happen again.
Mm-hmm. I get
Now,
it.
in case, Daniel Jones, okay, once you injure your Achilles, the biggest fear is that it can happen again.
Yes.
So, and you don't want to bring him back too early. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think Daniel Jones should see the field next season. Now, if you still want to sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal, you can do that, but just make it back heavy. You can have his 26 salary be like 26, and then 27, move him up to 35, 40, whatever. You can just make it back heavy.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm saying keep Riley Leonard here and develop him next year,
Yeah, he can stay.
you still want to give him experience, and you still want to be able to say, okay, maybe we can win at least 7 games with you here. And Anthony Richardson, he's such a talent, but he just has shown he can't do it here. There's something else that he needs that we can't provide him, or he's just not clicking. And I don't want to sit here and be like, okay, well, yeah, we'll bring in a Kirk Cousins next year because okay, that gives you another year with an unfamiliar quarterback
1 year.
who's unfamiliar with your season. Yeah, and you're only going to have him for 1 year.
That's the point.
Which makes no sense to me.
If you signed Daniel
to have him
Jones
here
to
for a
a
year.
4-year deal, you only want a guy for one because Daniel's the guy. That's the point.
Yeah, I get it, but he has no idea what this system is. And I know he's not stupid,
That's like,
and he could probably figure it out.
That's like saying for the Raiders when they brought Geno Smith over for a 3 for whatever, or 65 or whatever the hell it was, 75. Ew. That's like saying, hey, also let's bring in a couple other guys, to compete and develop and this and that. Geno's the guy. It's a waste of time. Now they're looking at it and going, well, we're going to cut him. And it's like, okay, but where the Colts are at now, they're going to sign Daniel Jones while injured, and so they're not going to find a reason to cut him in a year. So then he's going to eat 1 year, and then he's going to be here, and then he's going to maybe play poorly or not because of his Achilles still. But whatever the case, if it's a long-term contract, you're not developing underneath him just to then have guys that you can't play and it's like a distraction or anything like that. If you sign Daniel to a 1 or 2 year or whatever small thing, then yeah, I'm fine with Riley Leonard. For one, I want Riley Leonard on the team no matter what. All I'm pointing out is you better bring in competition against him next year if that's the idea, because you need to play the best quarterback that wins the job. It's not, well, we'll just keep Riley and develop him and we'll sign other random crap guys. Like, it's fine, no big deal. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure. If it's Anthony Richardson he's competing with, it's still not a great idea because then you're going to re-sign Anthony, or you're just going to give them this 1 year interview for someone else and then he's going to leave. You're not re-signing him for a bigger contract, especially if he plays well. And you put yourself in this weird position if you've signed Daniel Jones. Riley Leonard can't be the only guy you're considering for starting next year. And it can't be the motivation or the plan to, hey, we're going to develop Riley. That is idiotic. It just is. Now, if you don't want Kirk Cousins, that's fine. But they better bring in someone else, assuming that Anthony gets traded, and you have 2 guys competing, and you can develop. It's not like he hasn't been developing this year as a backup. He's developing, and he looked fine. but you're not going to have him just be handed the keys for a year. You're not going to Jacoby
No,
Brissett Riley Leonard and say, hey, we
no,
have no other options. You're the guy. I know you've been here a week, but you're the guy and you're going to be the guy all year. You're not going to do that.
yeah.
So bring in competition. It's got to be somebody.
I'm okay with bringing in
Yeah, it's
competition.
got to
I don't
be.
have any problem with that. But I would want it to be someone younger, somebody who isn't 70 years old. And I'm not going to sit here and bash the Philip Rivers thing because you have to do it's a knee jerk thing. You needed a quick fix, somebody who knew the system, somebody who runs this system on his high school team. So him and Shane Steichen are always in constant contact. They've worked together before. He's worked with Riley Leonard before.
Mhm.
So it was kind of a no brain thing to, yeah, bring in Philip Rivers.
It's our
Now, I
best
don't know.
chance.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it
And
made the
that's what's
most
so
sense.
dismal and sad about it. It is our best chance.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Just stop. It
Yeah.
is.
It may not be the sexiest thing that you could have done, but you understand why because of the entire system, the relationship he has with Shane Steichen, the relationship he has with Riley Leonard, and some of these guys he's had relationships he's been on teams with before, whatever. So I understand why they did it. It's annoying that it's a 44-year-old quarterback who hasn't played in 5 years. But that's the annoying part to me is that it's like, God, this really was our best option, and it's right, but then
It
it's
is.
also like, God, but why? Why does it have to be that way? Why can't we just have guys who are healthy?
Yeah.
Why can't we just have health? That's the only thing that we need. And that's the part that really pisses me off.
Hey,
It's just like we can't seem to have able bodies when we need able bodies.
You talk
So,
about Philip Rivers and he hadn't played. Everybody we've had start since they all have jobs somewhere else. They obviously weren't garbage, right?
yeah,
Matt Ryan obviously retired, but Carson Wentz is the backup for Minnesota. Minshew, backup for the Chiefs. Like
yeah,
Brissett is a starter for Arizona. There are no other quarterbacks that have really played meaningful Colts football. They weren't
yeah,
available. So what do?
yeah.
How about you, Phil?
Hey, Phil. Yeah, it sucks. It had to happen
That's
right after the trade deadline,
that's it.
but it's the does it suck? Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was the right thing to do. I do believe because you're not calling Cam Newton in from the studio to
He
do this
doesn't have
stuff.
time.
One thing that I did see earlier, somebody made a great point. It's like if you compare Philip Rivers' last season with Cam Newton,
In 21.
it's ridiculous the distance that was between those guys.
Right.
And Cam Newton is still younger than Philip
But they
Rivers, yes.
both haven't played. Both of them haven't played.
They
Right.
both haven't played in a long time. Not saying Cam is out of shape. Cam's probably still in great shape.
Right.
But yeah, if he
You want
wants
to
to
bring
call it
in
a smack in
Cam?
the face,
You want to bring Cam in
nah.
next year? Fucking, I don't care. I do. I really don't. You give him time to learn some playbook, right? He didn't have time to learn playbook and go play Seattle or San Fran. He ain't got time. I'm sorry. I don't
I
care
don't
how
know if
big
he
and
ever had a
Boston he
playbook.
thinks he's got with all his hair. It doesn't matter. But we
Yeah.
went off on a tangent. Let's wrap it back up with Thursday night football. Okay.
Hey, fuck you, guy.
I'm sorry. The Falcons had, again, I was about to tell you, 19 penalties, 19 flags called on them for 125 yards. They still won. What was the other thing? Baker Mayfield was sacked 5 times in the game. Mike Evans looked great. They had moments where they didn't look too bad, but I actually think the better team won yesterday because if you get that level of Kirk Cousins and their defense has been sneaky good at times, I'm like, you know what? Tampa Bay, you guys have been playing really subpar ever since Bakergate and our conversation on the J and K show. To be totally honest, Tampa Bay has sucked. So kudos
Yeah.
to them. They were like 6-1,
Yeah.
6-2, and they have been awful. And Baker has been awful. So thanks a lot, Mr. Mayfield, for making us and myself especially look foolish for calling you a possible MVP by himself if he won a game, which he didn't even win, and then he just went on a
Mhm.
fucking skid. How
Yeah.
wrong we even looked to project a possibility of that being the case. It was obviously far from what could happen now that we've seen what we've
Yeah.
seen. So,
Not just a skid, but a skid mark.
yeah.
I mean, they're 500 right now, man. I mean, it's just awful, just god awful. I, If you can't put away an Atlanta Falcons team with really nothing to play for other than spoiler with your best team,
No
this
faith
is
in
this is the best that Tampa can do.
yeah.
And they had a 14-point
Mhm.
lead in the fourth quarter here, and you can't put them away.
Yeah.
Maybe this does erase some of that 28-3 bullshit from Atlanta, being able to do some stuff like this. Maybe that makes some of their fans forget. If well, it maybe not forget, but at least forgive a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tampa is on a God, they are just on a bender, man.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like they can't close.
Yep.
They can't finish. And it was the exact opposite earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
They were down early and then they would come back. Now it's you guys are up, but you can't finish. It's like, okay, so there I think age is maybe coming into it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't maintain it through an entire 17 game season. You know, they're getting tired. Maybe that's what it is. They're running out of gas, but they've got 3 games left now to try to salvage the year.
Maybe
And
Carolina.
I don't have any faith in them. How bad does it feel for me right now to say I have more faith in Carolina to win that division right now than I do Tampa?
Yep.
I think that it's sad to say, but in 2025, Carolina's going to host a playoff game.
Yeah, they're gonna.
It's done. I think Tampa. I think Tampa. I think you can put a fork in them. Amen.
Hello.
Hey,
Are you okay? Stupid.
no.
Anyway.
Did she mess up the audio?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Well,
I heard some static. I didn't know if she did something.
she stepped on a key and YouTube popped up.
You bitch!
All right. Anyway, let's close that out. Yes, it's crazy for Carolina. You talk Carolina too much, and some strange cat comes walking over. Let's talk very quickly MVP. And we'll go
Let's
back.
do that.
We'll take turns as far as all 5. So one of us will say their
Yeah.
5 from 5 to 1 at this juncture, and say them fairly quickly, and then the other person will say theirs, and we'll discuss for a moment about them. Do you want to go first or second?
We'll let you go, bud. I opened it up with my rant. We'll let you go.
All right. So for top MVPs at number 5, I would put the reigning MVP, Josh Allen. I like him. I don't like his 10 interceptions. Obviously, he's been running the ball and doing some great things. So that elevates him as far as quarterbacks. His running ability helps. And I think he can still win MVP, but right now I would put him at 5. At number 4, I'm going to put Jonathan Taylor. And I know that the Colts are skidding and we're falling out, but his season is still worth mentioning that he's been the best skill player that you can ride. You can mention other ones, but James Cook has had some bad games. Puka Nakua is amazing. Amon-Ra, but got hurt. There's other skill guys, but Jonathan Taylor tops the list for me. At number 3, you also got Gibbs, by the way, but I'm not going to mention any more skill guys. At number 3, I'm going to go Jared Goff. I feel like at moments he's stepped up in a big way, but he's had a few moments where teams have really made him look pedestrian. So I wonder if he really has much of a shot, but I think statistically and what he has done, he deserves a little bit of a nod. So I have him at 3. At number 2, I'm going to go with Drake May. I think that Drake May has the best chance to win MVP outside of the other guy that I'm going to say. And it's not, I think it's a top 2 race right now specifically, and there's a gap.
Yeah.
So Drake May has been fantastic. His running ability, his lack of weapons as far as star names, and just what he's doing. Again, very Josh Allen-esque. So kind of makes sense that Drake May would have a real shot right in the same division. But number 1, I have Matt Stafford. And it's very clear when you look statistically, he is very far ahead, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Very far ahead. So congratulations to Matt Stafford, this year's NFL MVP.
Yeah. But I'm judging by my reaction. He's going to be number 1 on my list as well. You can't look away.
Unanimous.
And whether he's human, Matt Stafford, or not, that's to be determined.
There's nothing in the bylaws that says that cyborgs cannot participate. It doesn't say it.
Yeah. I think our top two are going to match. At number 5, I have Sam Darnold,
Thought about it.
just because he was able to back up what he did for the Vikings last season. He was able to show that it wasn't a fluke. I can still play and I can still, get results and we can win football games. I can do just enough. Yeah, his turnovers are a little bit high, but still they're winning games and you could put it on their defense too. And I wouldn't be able to argue, but still you need to have a general on the field to score those points.
Yes.
And right now, it's Sam Darnold is doing a fantastic job. I don't think he'll win it. I don't think he's close to winning it, but I do believe he should be in the top 5. My number 4 would be Jared Goff. I agree with you on that, just because he's still slinging it. I mean, he doesn't turn the ball over. His percentages is always high. He doesn't have very many incompletions all the games. It always seems like he's going like 25 of 29 or 20, 25 or something like that. And it helps when you have Amon Ra.
Yes.
But even if he doesn't have Amon Ra, I mean, he still finds Jameson there all the time, doing it without Laporta. Gibbs is getting Gibbs involved in the passing game too. So I think what he's done is impressive. My number 3 would be Josh Allen. Like you said, his turnovers are disgusting, but that doesn't take away for his leadership and what he does when things get tight. He knows it's time for him to go, and if that means, hey, I'm just gonna fucking run. I don't care. But I would have Josh Allen number 3. Plus, he's coming off of an MVP year.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 2 and number 1 are the same as yours. Got Drake May at 2. There's an obvious gap between him and Matt Stafford right now, and I think there's an obvious gap between Drake May and Josh Allen. So there's a gap between 1 and 2, a gap between 2 and 3, and then it's the field.
And it kind of feels like 3 doesn't have very much of a chance, like kind of like 10%.
No,
It's really not
I think
strong.
I think the only person that maybe Josh Allen could catch would be Drake May,
Yeah.
but he's got to play kind of bad these last 4 weeks. But I honestly think right now that the MVP is Matthew Stafford's to lose. He's got to fall on his dick in order to not get this.
35
He went,
touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
yeah, and he went what was it, 28 touchdowns before he threw an interception?
Yeah. He was on
I mean,
fire.
come on, it is unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal numbers. So yeah, Josh Allen could catch May, maybe. We'll see how they look this weekend. He's got a chance to prove it. And get some revenge for that loss in Buffalo. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to catch Matt Stafford. I think it's already in the bag right now. And if it's not, shame on the NFL.
Well, I mean, someone would have to play some unbelievable football in the final month. We're like 4 touchdowns.
It would have to be one of those 5 guys. Yeah, one of those 5 would have to have. I would almost have to see 12 to 15 touchdowns with 1 to 2 maybe interceptions, and your team goes undefeated. I mean, it would have to be those kind of. You would have to have Matt Stafford numbers to catch Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
So I just don't see it happening.
I agree.
But we'll see what happens. I reckon. But
all right,
Stafford has to get that this year. If he doesn't, then there's no excuse for it.
I agree. Let's transition to the final segment. We'll go real quick. We're going to do our upset alert, our upset game of the week, and our lock of the week. I'll go first. I think that my upset alert game, I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts to upset the Seattle Seahawks. And my reason for this is I believe that Philip Rivers is going to start. And I believe that the mantra of Philip Rivers himself, the allure, and what he's going to do efficiently and the play scheme around him, I think it's going to be ugly as far as score. I think it's going to be low. And I think we're going to pull out like a 17-14 win over the Seattle Seahawks. I think they're going to be stressed by third quarter when they do not have a sack on Philip Rivers. I think they're going to be stressed when we aren't taking very many chances and we're just playing great defense. That's the kind of game I expect it to be. And I could be totally wrong. And a lot of people, look, an upset means that one team is definitely supposed to win. But that's my call. If Riley Leonard plays, we're getting smoked. And that's not because of Riley Leonard. I think would play a fine game. But the mantra is needed. That extra oomph, that extra nasty 90-yard touchdown is needed
Touchdown.
in this game.
I will yell in your ear.
Leonard Williams is going to have someone yelling in his ear. Like, that's what you need to get nasty. Seattle will actually have a level of intimidation when dadgummit Philip Rivers is over there and he's not afraid of them. It's going to feel differently. It's a swagger. So that's my call for upset alert. What's yours?
My upset alert is gross, but I could see it happen because this team has played the upset special the last few years. My upset would be Cleveland beating Chicago. Just that defense, I don't know. Chicago's running game has been on point as of late.
Yeah.
But their passing game has struggled a little bit. Caleb has not been accurate.
Does Myles Garrett break the record this week?
I think Myles Garrett breaks the record this week. I think he gets 3 sacks.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I don't see. I don't know. I don't think that Chicago can get anywhere past Cleveland's defense. I really don't. Cleveland's run D is very good. I think that they can probably hold them in check. Now, if the Bears' backs turn more into receivers, then it could get a little bit out of hand. But
a lot of checkdowns,
and stuff like that. I understand that, but I think that Cleveland's good enough to kind of blow that stuff up. And Shador playing as well as he did. Now, is Kevin Stefanski going to do something stupid again
Shador,
and take him out on a 2-pointers or go for 2 when you don't have to? I would say, Kevin Stefanski, you're fired after this year. Just let the kid go.
Mm-hmm.
Let him go. Put your ego in the fucking tackle box and just go away.
Yeah.
Just go away. Let this kid do what everybody knows that he can do. If he falls on his ass, he falls on his ass. Fuck it. Then you can be right. Whatever. But I think that, especially going against a tough Bears defense, he's going to need it. He's going to need to see. He's going to have that experience and go up against a good defense. So I think he'll do fine. I think if Cleveland scores 17 points, that'll be enough. So that's my upset look this year, be the Browns beating the Bears.
Okay. I like it a little bit. Who do you have?
You better like it a lot.
Who do you have as your lock of the week? The one you feel real good about?
I feel really good about Buffalo going into New England and beating them. It's going to be cold. It's going to be potentially snowing. Really shitty cold, just New England, Buffalo weather. When you're in that kind of a shit mess, I trust Josh Allen more than I do Drake May.
Usually, he's had a couple games where he's looked pretty rough, but yeah, I have to agree. I think the repeat
when it's cold,
of that game,
just like last week, cold, snowy. Josh Allen was MVP form.
Awesome.
So if you're going to go into Foxborough and it's going to be cold, I don't know how windy it's supposed to be, but there's probably going to be wind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want Josh Allen to be your quarterback in those kind of elements because it seems like he thrives. So, and Drake May's not really the runner, and they don't want to use him as the runner. But, Buffalo will. Buffalo will run Josh Allen into the damn ground. They will do whatever it takes. And anytime you can use your 11th guy as the rusher, it makes it really hard for the defense to be able to cover you and stop you. So I think Buffalo is a lock to win that one. It's probably going to be a low-scoring 20-17 kind of game. So I pick Buffalo.
I'll put you on the spot a little bit. Now, what college did Josh Allen go to?
Well,
your answer right there. Where did Drake May go to college?
Why? North Carolina? You mean when they shut the state down when they get half an inch of snow?
So,
to a little pussies.
Josh Allen is ready to tread and sled in that snow, but that's just the way he's built.
He's ready to go. Mush, bitch. Mush.
Anyway,
yeah,
my lock for this week, I just feel, and I've been on them all year, so call me a biased piece of shit. I
You
like Green
bastard.
Bay beating Denver because I can't stand Denver. And both
Yeah, I
quarterbacks
can't.
can be really amazing and then also kind of be sus. But Green Bay, dude, I'm a big believer. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Matthew Golden, Josh Jacobs, like they're stacked, they're good. If they imagine if they had Tucker Craft, like this team is so ready to go. And I know Denver's good. And I know they got a good defense, and I know the Bo Nix does a good job, especially late in games. He's a playmaking quarterback, right? Which is how you can win games and championships, just having that the innate ability to make a play when you need it. But at the end of the day, I just don't think Denver's as talented on paper. I just don't. I can't help that. Green Bay's defense is also good. I'm not looking at Denver and being blown away. Like there's receiving core at every stat line at you. Oh, they're number one versus their number one. I like every single player on Green Bay's offense better than Denver's player. Every single one. I like Jordan Love, and I can understand some people saying they like Bo Nix better. That's close for sure. But you know what? Jordan Love's more in the MVP conversation than Bo Nix is. That's just the fact. He's right
Yeah,
there around probably between 6 to 8 to 9. Somewhere in there is Jordan Love. Bo Nix is a couple
yeah,
more further away, in my opinion. So give me Green Bay. Give me Green Bay.
yeah. I wanted to pick them as a lock because I agree with you. I think they're going to go in. And I think they're going to beat Denver.
Yeah,
But I'm a little bit more confident in Josh Allen than I am with Jordan Love right now.
totally fair.
Um,
Totally.
but I do believe that I think Green Bay is hitting a stride right now, and I think that win over Chicago last week
Kind of.
kind of
Yeah.
pushed them a little bit. And now it's like, okay, we just beat the number one seed in our own division and the NFC as a whole. So now we took their spot. Now, granted, the Rams are number one right now, but Green Bay's right there at two. So they if they can hit their stride right now and they can make a push, maybe Seattle gets the Rams in one of these next games, San Fran gets them. So I mean, we'll see what happens, of course, but I do agree. And it all depends on Josh Jacobs, I think. I think he's a little bit banged
He
up,
needs to stay healthy.
but yeah, they're going to need him in order to beat Denver. I do believe that even if it's cold in Denver, that's not going to bother Green Bay at all. So they're not a fair weather team.
Right.
So Denver
Understand.
loses that advantage. I don't think Green Bay's defense is as good as Denver's, but I don't think that
It's that
Denver's
far.
offense really Denver's offense is not really that good. It's just, can they do enough? Can they get a 3 or 4 scoring drives? And that's what they've been banking on, 3 or 4 scoring drives every game and then your defense. If Denver hits 14, 21 points, their defense is going to shut the other team down. But I don't see Denver shutting them down like that. I actually think Green Bay will put up 30 on them and do pretty significant damage, maybe. So my prediction would be like a 31-17. I don't think that it's going to be close. I think Green Bay's defense is good enough to shut down the Denver offense. And I could be an idiot,
Yeah.
but
I think
that's just how I see it going. You tell that bitch to get off camera right now.
people
She's
are
hogging the light, bro.
stay there. I think people are underestimating how great Jaden Reed can make their offense because that's their number one. And he's really dynamic, and he can be a kick and punt returner if they want to put him in a key moment and see what happens. I just look at it and I'm just like, you have to understand the Green Bay's been without their number one receiver all year. And they've been
All
without
year.
their number two receiver for the first 7 games. They get Watson back and they look better. Well, guess what? They're going to look even better with Jaden Reed.
Even better.
So I'm looking at that and I'm saying, whatever we thought about them playing with their food, now Green Bay, it's like, okay, now let's see how good they really are. Let's see how good they can be. I think that what we talked about Green Bay in the first couple weeks of the year, beating Detroit, that's the kind of team you're going to see. And I think people are going to be like, man, Lambeau Field is going to be
Yeah.
cold. Like that's how I look at it.
Yeah. If they can somehow get that 1 seed, I mean, it's going to be hard to go there and beat them.
Yeah,
But, we'll see how the Rams do. The Rams, I think the Rams are going to lock up the 1 seed, but
we'll see.
either way, if Green Bay can get the 2nd seed, it's going to be hard to just not say, okay, I think we can lock in Rams Packers for the NFC title game.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because I don't think anybody is going to go into Green Bay and beat them, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to go into Los Angeles and beat the Rams.
I think that's the two right there.
That we'll see how the rest of the season plays out, but you have to look at it right now. Green Bay's got to be feeling great after that game last week.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're 100%, I think we're going to see the complete opposite. You see Green Bay at 100%, it's going to look a lot better than Tampa did last night at their 100%. They're going backwards. Green Bay is heading up. So
yep.
I think it's all going to depend on if Josh Jacobs can stay healthy and if Jordan Love can have a good, accurate game with no turnovers. So
yep.
I do agree with you.
All right. Well,
Kevin, you're my best good friend, bud.
Thank you, sir. All right, bud. That's it. That's it for the Friday edition. So everybody enjoy their weekend, and we'll get back with you after this week. Good luck in everyone's fantasy playoffs that are starting.
Stay warm in the Midwest, guys. Stay warm in the Midwest.
Cold, so, all right. Until then, guys, we'll see you later.